Hey y'all. Good morning.
Great
Sorry for the
morning.
delay. I'm in Dallas and getting ready for the top producer mastermind. So I look forward to getting it's a top 100 in the region. Look forward to having more of you on that list, and we're going to get y'all in this room. And I'd love to obviously have Memphis represent. So what is today, y'all? Today is Thursday. Happy Thursday. We put a lot of content out this week. We had top producer talk yesterday. We had the panelists on Tuesday. So a lot of things being thrown at y'all. Some things I want to touch on really quickly, and then I'd like for you to unmute yourself for ahas from what you've heard. Number one, and this is important, there's a lot of fallout of contracts right now. Okay. So this isn't just happening locally, this is happening nationally, and anybody know why? Why is there a lot more fallouts than what we've seen recently? Somebody unmute. Anybody know what consumer sentiment is right now? It is very low. It is at an all-time low. Okay, so if you're looking at the consumer and what the consumer feels is a good market to purchase real estate, then you have to understand that our contracts are going to fall out. And our job is to protect the client. And I am telling you this because you want to get very clear up front what their motivations are, what their expectations are. And if you do not have a meeting on the front end, it will not serve you on the back end. And what I mean by that is if you're not clear on that, it will waste your time, the client's time, and end up in frustration. So a few things I'm encouraging y'all to do. I want you to make sure you're really clear on your buyer consultation and your listing consultation. I want you to truly understand what the motivation is. And are they highly motivated, or are they wanting to test the market, right? Because if they're just wanting to test it, you get to decide if you want to waste your time or not, right, to provide your services. And then the third thing is I need you to button up your contracts. Everybody needs to go to contract class. And I think you need to do it over and over again because I need you to start thinking creatively. How can you button up special stipulations so that you can protect your client? So I'm not saying this to scare anybody. I'm just giving you the reality. If consumer sentiment is low, contracts are falling out. My goal is to protect you so that you can then protect the clients. Okay. So all that to say is this is a friendly reminder that consultations and expectations matter. And we're professionals, and I need us to lead that way. What questions y'all have for me around this? Anybody?
So, Sarah, I don't have any questions, but I did a listing review with Linda the other day, and she
Mm-hmm.
taught me something key. She said, of course, I was looking at price per square foot and all the things, but she encouraged me to look at it from the consumer eye, to scroll through realtor.com and see what value clients are getting at different price points and not just price per square foot. So I appreciated her to pushing me to look at it through the consumer lens and not just as an agent.
That is a very powerful statement, Sam. Y'all, we often look at it just from an agent perspective, and we're not looking at it from a customer or a consumer. So that lens is a critical piece in listing property, and quite frankly, as a buyer as well, right? And so making sure you're taking that into consideration. Absolutely love that, Sam. And then when y'all look at it from that lens, then you can help your clients. You can take them through a discovery and help them understand and see how other consumers are going to view that product, right? Great advice, Sam. Sandra, you got your hand raised.
Yeah, I just had to share. I had a situation where with my seller, I could see that it was going to fall out of contract. So me and the agent just we just came, put our brains together. What happened was we went back and forth, had three counter offers. My seller ended up saying, well, they wanted to sell it as is. I said, well, if you sell it as is, I would put lender required repairs only. And that's what we did. So when when the inspection came through, there was a lot of repairs. And so they halted the appraisal, and I called the agent and I said, hey, what's going on? And she said, they were putting down 30 grand and this, that, and the other. It was a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. And she said, we know it's as is. I said, just put it in writing.
Yeah.
said, put it in writing. I said, I've been in your shoes before on an as-is deal. I said, put it in writing because I knew my seller was motivated and I knew what her bottom line was. And she still came up above her bottom line, and we negotiated to give them some money for repairs. And it's sold
So
now.
also critical advice. Stop just talking to agents, start putting it in writing. Right,
Yeah.
y'all? Like everybody, when it's a sticking point, now all of a sudden everybody's forgetting what was discussed if it wasn't in writing. So it needs to be a part of the counter, it needs to be a part of an amendment, it needs to be a part of the contract. And if you're working with new construction and builders, even if you're at the very beginning stages, always summarize everything and put it in an email. Document everything. You need to document to take care of your client, to take care of you, and to take care of any missed expectations, right? And that way you can go back to it. So also great advice, Sandretta. We do a lot of talking and not enough writing and documenting, and it's a great way for us to button things up. So anyway, I say all of this is we are skilled professionals. And as skilled professionals, we make sure that we're looking at it from different angles as well as buttoning up the expectations on the front end. So that's all. I just had a friendly reminder today. Y'all, we've got to make sure that we are leveling up our skill sets too, right? And that's for all of us. And we're all going to make mistakes. And how do we learn from those mistakes, right? And I want to make sure that you're protecting your time too. And I know it's hard out there. So all that to say, that's all I got. I just want to make sure everybody understands the landscape in which we are working. And it's a great landscape to provide solutions. And it's a great landscape for opportunities if you choose to get into activity. Y'all let me know if you need anything. Make it a good one, make it count. Bye, everybody.